All right. So what I'm doing here, is I'm trying to be better with the podcast, trying to learn more how it works. So with this episode, and you probably see my eyes kind of going back and forth. I apologize at least for this first episode. But I actually have two cameras going. I have 3 computers going, monitors going that have various things that I'm using to kind of help me facilitate what I'm doing. If you're on my YouTube channel, you probably see a very close-up of me. If you're on my Facebook channel, I'm a little bit further up or further back, just different kinds of cameras. Just something I'm trying to get better at, and also trying to watch it. So I have it on screens and seeing how it looks. What I see is hopefully what you see. A little bit of a delay, it looks like, in there. I will say I am using YouTube. It's going to be the primary one. I can control a little bit more what I'm doing with YouTube. If it works out, I'll do both. But if there's any questions and things like that, YouTube is probably where I'm going to try to answer them the most. If there's any on Facebook, I will do my best to answer them. But for now, anything that comes through YouTube is probably what I'm trying to do. And as you guys are watching this with me, if you see anything that needs to be improved, I'm getting, it's my first one, so probably the audio and video isn't the best, but hopefully it's good enough. But if there are issues or there's any problems with it, feel free to let me know so I can look into that and learn into that. A lot of people know, I mean, I've been running tournaments and I've been doing things for a while, community things for a while. And what I really wanted to do with this podcast was introduce more to Kansas City as a whole. I already control or work with a lot of the scheduling. I answer a lot of the questions. I've been a part of many, many tournaments. So just with the new age that we're in, I kind of wanted to produce this as a video set. So not only are we going to talk about what's coming up, and it could be tournaments, it could be events, it could be clinics, things that are happening in the courses, volunteers, past tournaments. As far as tournaments go, my focus is the Kansas City mini series, so I will do a lot of focus on that. However, I will still talk about the other series that Rob Martin and Jerry Patterson put on as well. I will talk about leagues, and I will talk about really whatever we want. It's kind of a casual format. I'm really not set to any specific amount of time. If you don't want to sit and watch it live, it will be available to be watched afterwards at your own leisure. You can go back and reference if you're looking for time or looking for things that I've talked about to kind of remind yourself if you're not able to find it online. Most of all the events that I'm going to talk about, at least on the YouTube channel, I'm also going to put all the links in there as well to what I'm able to find. Now, remember, anything that I say, I'm really only going off of what is on Facebook or the different platforms that are out there for promoting different events. If make sure if you're having legitimate questions or concerns that you reach out to those tournament directors directly. They're the ones who are going to have the official answer. So don't blame me if I said something wrong, but I'm trying to read it directly from the sources online. But again, things could change. Things could change from the time I talk today as an example versus when the actual event takes place. And some of those events are this coming weekend. Some of those events are months away. So it just depends on what we want to promote and what we want to talk about and educate you guys about to make you better informed within the community. I'm going to try to do this about once a week. It might not happen every week. It really just depends on the schedule and depends on what else is going on. But I will tell you, just putting together a list of things that I wanted to talk about today, we're in December. Season theoretically doesn't start till February, and we already have a ton that I can talk about today. So we'll get that started on the Facebook page. I created a Kansas City Disc Golf Show page. If you're not already on that, I encourage you to join it. That's where we'll kind of talk about what we're going to talk about up here. So if you have something you need to know or you would like to know, maybe it's something that I might not even normally talk about within the Kansas City Disc Golf, put it on there. If I can find the answer, I will. Some things might take me a little bit more time to find, so it may not be in the immediate episode, but I'll try to communicate as much of that information as possible. So again, that's just kind of the start with. It's called the Kansas City Disc Golf Show. I'm definitely not sold on that name. Tyler House suggested KC Discussions. I love that name. That's actually the name I'm more than likely going to lean towards unless somebody else can come up with something better. I really like that one, Tyler. So if you hear this, thank you very much, KC Discussions. So with this podcast, there's actually another podcast that I'm working on too. That idea is to be a little bit bigger, but that's called Trilogy Talk. And that's going to be a trilogy niche-based podcast for the fans, by the fans kind of concept. But I really like the word Trilogy Talk. So when I thought about the Kansas City one, I didn't want to call it Kansas City Talk, but KC Discussions, kind of the same thing, but it's different. And I really like it. I don't know. The words discussions sounds a little bit more fancy. I don't know. That's the right word or not. But so we'll see what we do. I'm going to maybe post a poll out there later today and see what people think, or if they want to add some suggestions, they're welcome to. Let's see. All right. So let's get started. One of the first things I'm sure a lot of people are waiting to hear, and I'll kind of start with, is the 2019 schedule. The 2019 schedule is in progress. Next week, we have our Kansas City Flying Disc Club board meeting, and at that meeting is when I present all of the schedule that has been presented to me. It is what I go to, and pretty much we talk about it as an organization, and we decide if that's the schedule we want. Most of the time, it's since they're pre-existing as events on pre-existing weekends, it's really not too big of a deal. Usually, sometimes there's a conflict, more specifically with like club-related events, but it really shouldn't take much to put that schedule together. Once that schedule is approved, hopefully on my episode 2, I will submit that link and I will promote and show everybody what that schedule is, and I will announce the Kansas City mini-series schedule. So speaking of the Kansas City mini-series, this year in 2018, I was a little more lax on it. I had the Masters World Championships and a few other things on my plate. We had the mini-series, but I didn't promote it anything like I wanted to. So going into 2019, I'm going to be hitting it hard. I'm not running nearly as many events, but I really want to promote it. I want to get it back to the community-based events that we used to have it a few years ago, where everybody wanted to be at those events. There are a lot of other events that are around too, and other series as well. So you definitely have choices. But for the Kansas City mini-series events, I believe we're going to have 8 of them this year, which I'll announce officially next week. We'll have the Kansas City mini-series finale and skins match again. And one of the new things that I'm pretty excited to add is we're going to add the mini-series championships. And I haven't quite figured out all the details yet, but it's going to be very similar to like what the Disc Golf Pro Tour championships are, where in our case, I think we're going to do the top 24 that's overall ranked amongst the mini-series. And it's going to sort of a match play come in until there's a final championship. But if you qualify for that, there will be an entry fee for the championship. But if you qualify, even if you lose in the first round, you're going to be guaranteed to get at least your entry fee value back. So it's going to be pretty exciting. Something you're going to want to try to do is maybe get into that top 24 and do your best to, just compete. Of course, we'll have the perfect attendance award and things like that too, the ACE funds, the championship trophy discs that we give out at each of the events. So the mini-series should be bigger and better next year in 2019. I'm very excited about doing that. That's one of the reasons I actually wanted to start this, is I wanted an outlet to promote all the different things that we're going to be doing. So, but all right. So kind of looking at my schedule, the first thing that's kind of coming up on the schedule is this weekend. There's actually a few things going on. We have Matt Lloyd with the Dynamic Discs RV, or Dynamic Discs at Arkansas. He is going to be up here. He's running the Winter Wonderland. It's a 2-round of 18-hole event, PDGA C tier. They're playing Rosedale up top twice. As of yesterday, it's nearly half full, so it is filling up. It is a tournament that normally will get the numbers. I'm sure a few people are waiting on that weather, but as of now, the weather is looking pretty decent. Maybe a little bit wet on the ground, but overall, it's looking good. Again, I will post that link to the registration page if you haven't seen it already on the YouTube page. So you have that, but I would definitely get registered. Let's see here. So that's the Winter Wonderland. Again, Matt Lloyd, PDGA C tier event. Following that at night, I'm not really sure all the specifics. Tina Patterson with the Disc Golf Divas and the Divas, they are hosting just kind of a casual outing at Crane Brewing. that is going to be approximately 9 p.m. So after the Winter Wonderland, or if you can't make Winter Wonderland, go out and help support the Divas. It's a nice night to go out to Crane. Crane, who's a big supporter of disc golf. They've been a part of many things that we have done over the years throughout Kansas City disc golf, and they're just wanting to get involved in more. So if you get the opportunity, go out and check them out. Go out and hang out with them. Even if you're not a beer drinker, a lot of times they'll have baskets or things set up, but it's just a really neat environment to go hang out. So that is on Saturday night, December 8th, after the Winter Wonderland. If you see my head turning to the right, because I'm reading my page that has all my notes on there. Like I said, there's quite a few. On Sunday, there is a Diva Party. I really don't know a lot of the details about that, but any guys who have the girls that are with the Divas, or it's on the Diva page, again, I'll have that link posted on the bottom of the YouTube page. If you have a lady who's involved in there, you go over there and hang out with them. If you don't have a lady who's involved with the Divas, get them involved. More ladies, the better. And also, Paige Pierce has got a signing. She's going to be out there with the Divas at some point as well, but she will be doing a signing over at Dynamic Disc Kansas City store from 3 to 4 p.m. She has got a lot of her collector discs, a lot of her swag and discs and things like that. Also, Dynamic Disc Kansas City is giving a discount if you go in there and you purchase along with Paige Pierce's things. I don't know the exact details, but I know there's a combination of the two, as I've seen posted online. So make sure you get some opportunity, go support Paige Pierce and go buy some Christmas gifts. Let's see. Also on December 8th, so it's a busy weekend right away this weekend. On December 8th, over at the Soccer Lot, Dynamic Disc Kansas City, they're doing week 2 of the Winter Marksman putting competition. They did last week as kind of a formal or an informal outing. People came out. And this week, I don't know for sure if it's starting official yet this week, but either way, they're hosting that and having that. It's an opportunity to be able to putt indoors, so you don't have to do it in this cold weather. But if, again, anything, it's just a way to have some camaraderie with your fellow disc golfers. Meet some people, see the people you haven't seen in a few months because tournament season's has been over. Maybe doing this podcast will help me learn my English a little bit better. But we have the Soccer Lot stuff going on there. So trying to stay in somewhat of an order. Let's see here. So that is this weekend. So again, we have the Winter Wonderland, Crane Party, Paige Pierce, and the Soccer Lot. And give me 1 second here. So the very next thing that we have coming up is starting the following weekend. I'm trying to bring it up on my screen so I can read it larger. But Michael Kruger, MK, he is running the Safari Winter League, and that starts December 15th. It is going to be out at Rosedale. They're doing a safari with the understanding and exception that the weather allows it. So right now he's working on the safari, doing up top and down under, but if it's too slippery, the conditions aren't there, he's not going to risk it and he's not going to have it. But I'm going to read to you, just so I'm saying it pretty accurate. This is what MK told me when I asked him about the safari. It is going to be the first of the Safari Saturday PDGA Travel Leagues. Assuming weather permits and down under is available, it will be 21 holes, combining 1 through 10 and 18 down under with a variety of holes up top. Safari holes will include 8 to 9 as a par 4 with a gravel area as a hazard area, but the island is safe. So he'll go into more details. I'm just reading this direct, but hole 10 will play to hole 13, which along par 4 or 5, depending on the position. Hole 16 will play to 17, which is another par 5. The cost to play is $5 for club members. It's $6 if you are not a current club member. You add $1 if you want to get in on the Ace Bowl. Sign up at 9:30 at the table near hole 1. So that's just so MK runs these throughout the winter, and he'll run them all the way, I believe, all the way up to the Frostbreaker, the weekend before the Frostbreaker, which is about mid-February. And every Saturday, almost no matter what the conditions, I don't think he's canceled one yet. I know a few events he's had in some 0-degree weather that he's still having people show up. People show up. There are PDGA events. They give you the ability to gain a few extra points, get a jump start on that rating goal that you're trying to accomplish, finishing out 2018 or going into 19. So there, again, another opportunity to go out, just be prepared and bundled up. All right, I'm trying to get my screen back to where I was. But MK does a great job at that. So a lot of people really enjoy it. He has a good following. He tries really hard to get to know the positions, to promote those positions, to make things a little bit more creative. Make you have to learn to be better at disc golf. All right, let's see. So that's December 15th. There's a little bit of a lull there. I mean, you still have this Saturday Travel League. There's also Saturday Down Under League, which I believe starts at 1 o'clock. I'm not 100% positive on that. That is one I did not look up. It just popped in the top of my head. But I believe 1 o'clock is when the Down Under League as well. That's also on Saturdays. So you've got some choices there. December 31st out at Prairie Center, I am going to be running the Year-End Open Prairie Center Edition. That is a PDGA C-Tier Flex Start event. It's a flex start from 10 to noon. It is a fundraiser for the Kansas City Mini Series. If you played it last year, it's going to be very similar. It's $20 to play. $5 from the pro entry fee goes to the fundraiser for the Mini Series. All amateurs, you play for a player's package only. There's no payout or trophy. So for that $20, last year I think you got 2 discs and some swag. It was well worth over the $20 value. So you got a good deal on some discs. You got an opportunity to get some ratings. You got an opportunity to get some PDGA points, and you helped fundraise the event. So that is something to know, that that'll be the last PDGA event that happens in 2018. So again, good opportunity to help you finish out the year. I will have that up on Disc Golf Scene here very soon. It's actually there already. I just have the date incorrect on that, so I'm getting that fixed. But once that's fixed, I'll get that promoted. But again, one more opportunity there. And again, flex start from 10 to noon. So even if football is going on or things like that, you can start right at 10, be done before football starts. I don't know what time the Chiefs play on that day, or your favorite football team play that day for that matter. So, but immediately after, I said December, it's December 30th. I even have it wrong on my screen. It's the Sunday, December 30th. And that's what I had wrong online as well. See, I didn't fix it on my notes. December 30th. And on January 1st is going to be the New Year's Day triples. New Year's Day triples. Well, I forgot, so I was looking it up. It is the 7th New Year's Day triples. And it looks like, oh, it's at Rosedale Park. That's right. So Matt Dixon, he's the one running it. There is a Facebook event page. Again, I'll post that link on the bottom of the YouTube page, so you can look at that. There is no pre-registration for that. It is all day of sign-up. Looks like sign-ups happen between 11 and 11:45. So, again, triples, you get randomly drawn into pairs of 3. You play out those holes as a pair of 3, like doubles, but as triples. In case you didn't figure that out. But it's a great time. I've been in a few years. I believe this is the 7th year I just saw posted. I went the 2nd or 3rd year, but I've talked to Matt about it almost every year about it. He gets pretty excited. It's one of the big events he puts on through the year, and he doesn't turn anybody away. Last year, I don't remember what he had, around 80 or so people, but I know he's been in the 100. He's had well over 100 before. Doesn't matter how many show up. He doesn't turn anybody away. So go out there, have a good time. So again, a lot of things are happening this winter, and that is just kind of gets us through the end of the year to January 1st. Right here next, I'm going to talk about some Ice Bowl stuff, but then right after the Ice Bowl stuff, within a month of that, starts the Frostbreaker, and right away there starts our season. So even though we kind of call that we have an off season right now, we really don't. I mean, it's maybe not as big or tournament structured, November, December, January, but there are so many little things that are going on, and all the little niche organizations, they're all doing something. So make sure that you're still getting out and about. That way you're not all cold and rugged come February. You don't have to play as competitively, but still get out and have some fun. All right, you can see New Year's Day triples. That kicks off our 2019 New Year's Day triples, but almost immediately after that, We still got the league going on Saturday by MK and the Down Under, but then we have the Ice Bowl events. None of this stuff is all official. Well, I would say it's pretty official. It's on the KCFDC Facebook page for their event page, but there are satellite events all the way up to the Ice Bowl. So there looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 satellite events as of now, and there's nothing to say that a couple more won't get added here before we get before those dates come. But again, January 12th is the first satellite. That's out of Bad Rock Creek. Wilbur Young is on January 13th. The 19th is Prairie Center satellite event. January 20th is the Pleasant Hill satellite event. January 26th is at Rosedale. And then the actual Ice Bowl itself is going to be over at Blue Valley this year. So that's a new location. I'm not exactly sure what they're doing with all the courses. I'll tell you guys more as I learn more. But I think they're tweaking those courses a little bit to make them fun. You're not playing the big monster courses for the Ice Bowl, but you're going to still going to set it up to be a good time. There should have Ice Bowl registration up very soon. If it's not up already, I don't think it is yet, but where you can, I highly encourage that you pre-register for that package. It helps the club and the Ice Bowl organizational committee figure out what they need to get ahead of time to make it so you can get what you asked for a little bit more accurately and quicker. They are doing an extra fundraiser this year. I wish I could show it up on the screen. And again, I'm not quite that far into this podcasting technology thing yet, but they created a new disc that is a fundraiser for the Ice Bowl, but it is not actually up. It is not part of the Ice Bowl package, and it's a Swope disc. It's something one of our local Matt Oval created. It's kind of a two-tone with some coloring, different variety of pictures from old school pictures, like with Tom Engel and things like that, mixed in with some black and white line art drawing as well. Very cool. That disc is for sale on a pre-order basis at the moment up on the kcfdc.org page. Again, I'll post that link. But a great opportunity to support, but get a piece of history. That's going to be something that's pretty neat. Pretty sure they're pretty much only making what is pre-ordered. Maybe they order a couple, but the club is trying to get away from ordering extras of things. So make sure that if that's something you want, you pre-order and look at that. That, again, is not part of the package for the Ice Bowl, as far as my understanding. You can still get the full color buzz that is the Ice Bowl branded with that package, but the Swope one is kind of an in addition type disc. So those are the stuff with the Ice Bowl that's coming up. And that takes us up through the end of January. I plan on coming up again next week. We'll have episode 2. My goal next week is going to be to talk about the schedule, post that link of the schedule, talk about what's new with the schedule, the changes. The KC Wide Open is moved back a week. The Midwest Amateur Championships moved back to its traditional week. There's a lot of little things going on. And with this, I don't want to talk about just tournaments. Tournaments are fun to know and learn some information about. But I also want to talk about whatever we want to talk about. So once we get some more information on Swope, I'm going to talk about that as much as I can. Once we get the information more on the Waterworks baskets, which I know they're starting to collect payments on those baskets. So I know it's something that we're working on soon. I know there's some things they got to do to adjust with some sleeves for those baskets. But as of now, there hasn't been anything to indicate exactly when those new Mach X baskets are coming in. But as there's changes that are going on, if there's things that you want me to talk about, submit it on Facebook. Send me a private message. I see a lot of stuff on Facebook. I will try to grab some of that information as I can, but I don't see everything. I know last weekend, Eric Eastwood was over, I believe at Belton, but he had a group of people. I saw him thanking the people on there too. So there's a lot of things going on. Follow the KCFDC Facebook page. There's 2 of them, one that's run by the community, one that's run by the club itself. But that is a good place to find all those details as well. But again, we just want to educate. I want everybody to be informed, and I want a place to be able to talk. If you've ever met me, you know I like to talk. So all right. Well, that is all I have for you guys today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.